the benefits, of course, initially, when it was developed in the 70s, the first, for example, I remember when the ISM algorithm emerged from the Warfield, conceptualized it and developed the mathematics of it, the so-called Boolean algebra of it. The benefit was that we could use the technology to help people address complexity in terms of making connections. In other words, we hear people say connect the dots. Well, the dots are the ideas, but to make the connections among, let's say, 20 ideas, you have to ask many questions, and nobody takes the trouble to do that. So the technology and the algorithm combined, the computer, basically the computer power of the computing at the time, the 70s, gave us the opportunity to offer this unique capacity to busy people to build connections. And as I mentioned at some point in time, the original proposal of the Club of Rome on the predicament of mankind, if one reads through that, the original conception by Hassan included the notion of people can build trees and make clusters. He conceptualized that the capacity of people from different walks of life to make geometric configurations was, they were capable of doing that, but they were not good in terms of mathematics or equations or mathematical manipulations. So we found the computer, we get the algorithm, we give people the opportunity to build geometrical representations of ideas and their connections. All of this was very good, and we also recognized that we should do all that without recognizing that the capacity of people to manage complexity has to be managed in a way that we don't overload them in terms of the so-called information chunk or chunking, which is the magic number 7 plus or minus 2, which Warfield then later on in a very beautiful paper wrote the 3 plus or minus 0, which I strongly recommend for the practitioners and the theoreticians. He was very fantastic in that paper. So bottom line here is that we have to use technology. Even the Native Americans reluctantly used the computer technology to develop what they call the ILIS, which is the equivalent of SDD in their customized version, which is actually interactive. It's called Indigenous Learning Interactive System, ILIS. Indigenous Leadership Interactive System. So yes, we need the technology and we should embrace it, but always keep in mind that there has to be a balance in between the technical or the technological and the behavioral. And that balance was very carefully managed in the early phases of the interactive management approach as it was developed at the Center for Interactive Management at the University of Virginia and George Mason. We made sure that we will not, for example, use a methodology that was not applicable to the behavioral limitations of people who sit around the table. So my concern now is if we pick up any technology that comes from the marketplace and we don't carefully make some judgments about its utilization within within SDD as we apply it, including the discovery phase, the collaboratory phase in which we use a lot of technological gadgets, all of which can be useful, but they can also be counterproductive if we don't respect the behavioral aspects of human cognition and emotion too.